Hi folks, it's Evo here from Thundermist Lure Company. Great to see you and welcome to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. I'm out here with our favorite boatless angler. We've got Antonio with us today beside me here, and in front of me we've got Phil at the front of the boat. So strategy is we're looking for some Flexi-Jig magic today, folks. We're all running the Flexi-Jig, and I know for those of who hasn't seen it before, the hook actually flexes down on the hook set, making for a perfect hook set. So that's going to be the strategy. We're just going to work the Flexi-Jigs off the bottom. We're running different plastics, whether they're more finesse or paddle tail. I'm going to go with more of a finesse approach today. Get my line out there, and basically we're working the Niagara River, and we're just going to work these in the current and kind of work it back against the current and see if we could trigger a bite. Now we're looking for walleye today. That's our target, but you never know, we might catch a lake trout or even a steelhead. You never know, but walleye's our target. We're hoping to get into some. We're sitting here right now in about 14 feet of water. We've got a beautiful day upon us, and it's just a matter now of working the Flexi-Jigs back towards the boat, just jigging them off the bottom and hoping that we can trigger a hit or two. So stay tuned, folks. So glad you could join us. Oh, there we go. He just nailed it. Did you? You must have seen that bite, because the rod was right in front of you.
I think you got a walleye.
When I say he hit hard, folks, he hit hard. Oh my goodness. Now, you think it's a walleye?
I do, yeah.
Yeah? I'm hoping it's a walleye, folks.
Just the way it hit, like, I watched the whole thing.
It was just a thunk.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you're working jigs, folks, as soon as you feel the hit, you have to set the hook right away. Because what happens is those walleye will take the bait, and if they sense it's not natural, they'll spit it out, and quickly too. So, oh yeah, I think
you got a walleye.
it is a walleye, folks, and it's a nice one. Oh yeah, that's a good walleye. Okay, now I don't want to lose him. He's come to the top of the water. We got the current. The current's dragging him back. I got a lot of pressure on my line. I got pressure on him. He's giving me those head shakes. I got to keep my line really tight here, or we're going to lose him in this current.
Pressure on the net man to net it now.
There is pressure, Antonio. It's all up to you. Here he comes. And yes, he is in the bag, folks. We have got dinner. Look at this fish right here. That is a beauty. That's a chunk. Look at that chunk right there. And there's my Flexi-Jig right up the snout. Absolutely perfect hook set. Okay, let's get that out. Come on out of there. I haven't even got water in the live well yet. There we go. Beautiful fish. Isn't that nice? Isn't that a nice fish?
Beauty.
Dandy. Okay, that's a great one. Let's put him in the box and get that line right back out there again. So that's because where there's one, folks, there's typically more. Okay, take advantage of Antonio moving to the front of the boat. I got another hook set, folks, and he nailed it. Now I should have mentioned I am running the 3/4 ounce Flexi-Jig because we've got a strong current here, and I need that jig to be hitting the bottom, and I'm actually letting that jig hit the bottom to help trigger a bite. And this was another very, very aggressive hit. So I am running braided line, which is very sensitive. I feel everything. And what else I like about the braid, it's very, very thin, so it cuts this river water real quick and allows my Flexi-Jig to get down to the bottom much quicker. And of course I am running a fluorocarbon leader, and my fluorocarbon leader, I went lighter. I only went with an 8-pound fluoro leader today. Oh, it's a nice walleye. Oh yes. No pressure again on the net man. We're fighting current, we're fighting fish. Oh boy, I gotta watch those head shakes. Gotta keep my line tight, Look at the current. You can see behind the motor how strong that current is. And he's right in the current. You ready? And here he comes. Oh yeah, he is in the bag, folks. He is in the bag, and that is another nice Niagara River walleye right there. Boy, am I loving this. And I should mention, the reason I chose black over chartreuse or glow white today is because there's a little more cloud than there is sun. So it's a little darker than it is, and that's a nice fish.
Nice one.
Okay, he's gonna go in the box. And sometimes those subtle decisions. Now, if, for example, the black wasn't producing, I would have switched up. But because it is kind of partly sunny, chartreuse might have done okay today. But hey, my gut said go with black. It's picked up the first 2 fish of the day. We're sticking with black, and we're sticking with 3/4 ounce. And we're gonna just, one more thing before we sign off. I want to mention, when you're working the current, if you lift your jig up and you let it fall down, if you find the current is too strong and you don't feel your jig hitting the bottom, well, obviously then you got to go with a heavier jig or change the technique. Instead of jigging up and letting the jig fall down if you don't feel the bottom because of the current, use the method, what I'm going to call the sweeping method. Take your rod tip, point it down, and sweep it horizontal instead of vertical. And you could work it back just the same way. Sweep it horizontal, and now you could feel the bottom for sure. There's, boom, there's bottom right there. So it's a much, I'm gonna say, it's an easier technique to use the sweeping technique if and only if, when you're vertically jigging, you can't feel the bottom. Okay. Well, we got a great day upon us. We're off to a fantastic start. Wherever you're tuning in from today, if you haven't been out on the water and done some fishing, I recommend doing it soon. Get yourself out there, have some fun. That's what we're doing today. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. And as always, folks, until next time, good luck and good fishing. Okay, see who gets the next one.